Hello, everyone. Welcome to TV Oblivion, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Castanes, and this is episode 5, season 1. Today's date is June 12th, 2022, and today I will do just like I did in the previous episode. I would discuss a TV show from each decade that is largely forgotten and obscure and rarely syndicated on television. And it's a very interesting list. So first, the program will go into a commercial break, and this program is brought to you by Borden Dutch Chocolate Milk. That sounds good. This is from the early 1960s. So sit back and enjoy, and I'll be right back. Thank you.
Here's Elsie's Skating Club. Isn't Elsie graceful? And look at Elmer. I'm cold. So Beulah says, let's go in and warm up. I know just the thing for that, says Beauregard. Hot Borden's Dutch chocolate. Yes, sir, delicious Borden's Dutch chocolate, ready to use right from the carton. Full of good milk nourishment, plus the extra good chocolate flavor of real Dutch cocoa. Just the thing when you come in out of the cold, or any time. Borden's Dutch chocolate, made with real Dutch cocoa, tastes so good.
Makes you feel so good, too.
And it's ready mixed. So easy to use right from the carton, hot or cold. Ask your mom to get some today. Borden's Dutch chocolate.
Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. Buy Borden's today.
Okay, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Borden Dutch chocolate milk. That sounds good. Borden's is, I don't know, it's still around, sort of. I haven't seen it in Chicago, but it was good. They had good products. I remember their cottage cheese was good, and the milk is wonderful. With Elsie the cow, famous spokesperson or spokescow. Okay. Now, I will run down a list of what I'm going to talk about from each decade, and then I will get started. And here we go. From the 1940s, I will talk about the sitcom The Ruggles. From the 1950s, it was a sitcom called Jamie. From the 1960s, I will talk about the variety show The Judy Garland Show. Very interesting, this is Judy Garland's 100th birthday this month. We all still miss her. 1970s is Lots of Luck. It's a sitcom. 1980s is Automan. That's an interesting show. And also in the 1990s, I would talk about George. That starred George Foreman. And last but not least, in the 2000s, I would talk about The Lion's Den. That starred Rob Lowe. Okay. So like I said before, I will talk about each show, give its origins and a little trivia. Should be a lot of fun. Okay, so we're going to start off with the first show, The Ruggles, and probably a lot of people forgot all about it. I don't blame them. Okay, so The Ruggles was a sitcom. It premiered on October 23rd, 1949, and it was canceled June 19th, 1952. Probably the last show that aired. And it aired on ABC, one of the earliest shows on, earliest sitcoms of that network. And it was recorded on Kinescope, just like they did in the old days. And it starred an actor. He was a comedian. His name was Charlie Ruggles, and he did a lot of acting, mostly on radio and television. And what I remember, my favorite thing that he did, he guest starred on the Munsters. And Herman Munster wanted to get a driver's license. So Grandpa suggested him to go to a small town so you won't be nervous and you'll get your license. So they did. They drove to some small town out in the boondocks. And there was Charlie Ruggles, and he played. He was the mayor. He was the driving. There was only one person. He's the only person that lived in the town. But he was so befuddled and confused, but a sweet man. So he tried to help uh, Herman get his driver's license. I thought at first he thought he'd get a marriage license. He thought that maybe it was his eyesight. He didn't see very well. He thought Grandpa and Herman were getting married, but they weren't. And when he tried out for the driver's license, Herman started the car and he only drove about a few feet and then he passed. That was the end of that. I would have accepted it. So it was the funniest episode. I still laugh at that. I really do. But he was a very Charlie Ruggles was a very talented actor, and so if you see him on the old sitcoms, you would know who he was. So he had his own he had his own TV show. Never knew that until I never knew that when I was younger, but then I found out. And also, so here's the plot of the show. He was the character's name was the same as his real name. His wife was Margaret, and two actresses played. One was Irene Tedrow. Used to see her a lot on television. Then it was Erin O'Brien O'More, and he had four children. Okay, and so that ran about. They don't know how many episodes it ran, so they're not sure. So the plot of the show was he was a department manager for a company, I think insurance, and so it's just like a typical sitcom, you have problems at home and all kinds of strange things happen like that. So most of the time it was largely in the home. The program was broadcast live, so that was one of the few. There not many episodes survive. I think there is one or a couple at the UCLA Film and Television Archive. I went there one time. Oh, no, I did not go there. I went to Beverly Hills when I went to LA, but I would like to see this episode. I think it's on YouTube, maybe a couple episodes, so you can check it out. So here's the theme song of the Ruggles, starring Charles Ruggles. So sit back and enjoy, everybody. Thank you. Okay, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the intro for the Ruggles, one of very rare TV shows. I don't think it was syndicated because it couldn't have been. It was just it was broadcast live, like most of the early TV shows from the late '40s. So that's that. Okay, next up, I have a sitcom called Jamie. And it was created by David Susskind. You remember him from his talk show from the 60s and the 70s. I remember him. His show was on, I think, Channel 9 and WGN TV in Chicago. I remember that. Also, that was another live show. And it premiered October 5th, 1953 until October 4th, 1954 on my birthday. And it aired on ABC. Same network, and it starred Brandon Wilda, can't pronounce his name. He's a very talented young actor, and he did a lot of things after that. And the cast consisted of Ernest Truex, Polly Rolls, Kathleen Nolan, and Alice Pierce, best known for Mrs. Kravitz on Bewitched. I would love to see her. She's still funny. Oh, every time I look at her, I start laughing. But in the role, let's see, Kathleen Nolan's role. Let's see, which was her teenage cousin Liz. In the pilot was the actress was Eva Marie Saint, famous Hollywood actress. She's still alive to this day. Amazing. So the pilot episode air it was on the ABC album Plymouth Playhouse, a very an anthology series that aired in April of 1953. So the pilot was accepted. They gave the green light, but Eva Marie Saint was replaced. I don't know who did that. So the star of the show, Brandon DeWild, was he was 11 years old. He was on Broadway and very talented actor. And his famous role was Joey Starrett in the 1953 movie Shane that starred Alan Ladd, and come back, Shane. And he was nominated for an Academy Award. I've seen the movie about a couple times. He's wonderful. I loved it. So behind the scenes, when you do a live show, you're very nervous and you forget your lines. And then Brandon, he was very gifted, very talented, but he got pressured, and the contract a lot said that if he had problems or didn't want to continue, he would just leave the series. So that was in the contract. Thank God his parents arranged that, but it didn't happen. So after the season ended in 1954, it would start the second season, but it dropped out. So it really ran for 2 seasons, like one and a half, like that. So they just canceled it. I don't know. They had trouble with the sponsors, so they had nothing to do with the actor. It was behind the scenes. So the plot of the show was he was a 7-year-old boy, and he was an orphan. His parents died, and he had no place to go. And he went so he tried to move from relative to relative. He finally found a relative, Aunt Lori, and then he bonded with his grandpa. And they mostly was him and Ernest Truex. So the character's name was Jamie McCumber and Grandpa McCumber. So just the usual plots. He didn't want to wear glasses. He wanted to go to this. He ran away to the circus. Some had comedy, some had drama. Not really. And most of the scenes in the show took place at Aunt Lori's back porch. Okay. So I'm going to play the theme song of, well, it's not the theme song, it's the sponsor. It's very hard to find. And it's Jamie the sponsor was Sunsweet Prune Juice. Very nice. So here is Jamie. Okay, and enjoy.
It's time for Jamie, starring Brandon DeWilde, with Ernest Truex, Polly Rolls, and Kathy Nolan. Brought to you by Sunsweet Prune Juice, the fruit juice that gives you something extra.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the sponsor, Jamie, the Sunsweet Prune Juice. I'll give you a little background about Brandon. Let's see. He was born in Brooklyn. His real name was Andre Brandon DeWilde, or DeWilde. I don't know how they pronounce his name. And let's see. His name is Dutch origin. So he started acting he started acting very young, and at the age of 7, he made his Broadway debut in The Member of the Wedding, and he was it was very successful, and he became very popular. Then he acted in the film I mentioned before, Shane, that as Joey Starrett, and he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And he was the youngest one at the time, And then he started the television series Jamie, and then he did other did other roles on Broadway. Then he starred in other movies, Night Passage, did some television, like Wagon Train. He also, his famous TV role, there's another one, but the other one was called The Sorcerer's Apprentice, and that appeared in Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And I don't want to give away the plot, but it was kind of disturbing. So he played, but his name was Hugo, and he was a mentally impaired youth, and he couldn't separate fact from fantasy. So I don't go into more detail of that. And then he appeared in other movies, All Fall Down, starring Warren Beatty, and Eva Marie Saint, which she starred in the pilot of the TV show Jamie. Also HUD with Paul Newman. He was also did other TV shows and did a couple of Disney movies. What I remember about another TV role, he was on Night Gallery, and I think it was the episode Class of '99. No, I don't remember that one. I'll look it up and I'll tell you. So yeah, it was the Class of '99. And I think it was, I think it starred Pat Boone. I remember that. I haven't seen the episode in a long time. So that was one of his last roles like that. And he was killed in a traffic accident on July 6, 1972, which is a shame. And he was 30 years old. So he died of multiple injuries like that, which is a shame because another young talent gone like that. Okay, that's terrible. But I loved him in the Alfred Hitchcock Presents episode and also in Night Gallery. Shane, I have not seen that movie in a long time, but it was good. It was a good movie, good Western, and he was great in that. Okay. Next up, I will talk about the Judy Garland show. Oh boy, I watched this show on PBS, on WTTW Channel 11 in Chicago. I saw a few episodes. I loved it. It was wonderful. But it was on there for 1 year because there was a lot of controversy back then because of the star, Judy Garland celebrated her 100th birthday this month. Happy birthday to her. We all still miss her. She's a rare talent. And I'll give you the history of the show. It premiered on September 29, 1963, and ended March 29, 1964. Starred her, of course, and it was aired on CBS. And it was directed by two famous directors. One was George Shatler. I can't pronounce his name. Who created, not created, but part of Roland and Martin's Laugh-In, and Norm Jewison. He was a famous movie director. He directed a lot of classic movies. They tried to get Judy Garland to star in a variety show, but she didn't want to do that because, but she was in debt and she had a lot of money and she had personal problems. We all heard from the stories, but she accepted. She got good money, thank goodness. And there was 26 episodes. And most in the beginning, they showed like she did some singing and some dancing. There were some comedy bits, and she brought her children on the show. Her Liza Minnelli was there, Lorna Luft, and her son Joey. And they were there, and they sang together. They did. It was very nice, and Jerry Van Dyke was in the show, but the critics didn't like it, and the audience didn't care for him. I don't know. I liked him. He was a funny man. But the show was opposite Bonanza, and that was the second most popular program on TV. That was huge, on NBC, but it didn't work. It just couldn't knock it down. But the ratings wasn't well, and but the audience loved it. They loved the show, and they wanted to continue. But Judy Garland wanted to continue, but it only aired one season, which is a shame, because It was good. It was a good show. So I'm going to play a clip. That's all I could find so far, but it's in the introduction of one show from. Let's see. I think it's December. I can tell you the date. Yes, it's the introduction from December 15, 1963. It features Tony Bennett and Dick Shawn, the comedian. And Tony Bennett's still around, but he's very sick. So here is here's the clip of Judy Garland with those two wonderful, talented men. Here we go.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Got that feeling in me. Yes, indeed.
You will shout when it hits you, yes indeed. Yes, you will shout when it hits you, yes indeed. When that spirit moves you, you'll shout hallelujah. Yes, you'll shout when it hits you, yes indeed.
If it's in you, yes indeed. I mean, it makes you shout, Jack! It sends you, yes indeed. When that jive starts jumping, you shout, let me in there. When it hits you, you'll holler, yes indeed.
When you feel it, yes indeed, then you'll find that you need it, yes indeed. Then start to jumping, you'll shout, yes it moves me. When it hits you, you'll holler, yes indeed.
If it's in you, yes indeed.
Ain't no rest if it's in you, yes indeed.
You can't hide it, so you'll shout, yes it's crazy. When it hits you, you'll holler, yes indeed. You will shout all day, it hits you, yes indeed. Yes, you'll shout when it hits you, yes indeed.
You holler.
Lots of action to follow.
Lots of speed.
Wow, yes indeed.
The Judy Garland Show with tonight's guests, Tony Bennett and Dick Shawn.
Okay, I am back. I hope you enjoyed that clip of Tony Bennett and Dick Shawn with Judy Garland. The show like I said, ran for just 1 year. It is on DVD if you can find it. It's volume 1 and 2, but they're not in broadcast order for some reason, most of them. So just trying to figure out. I like to buy it. I don't have it, so maybe someday I'll get it because it's fascinating to watch. It really is. Okay, next up, I will talk about the sitcom Lots of Luck from the 1970s, and it premiered September 10th, 1973, and it was canceled March 15, 1974 on NBC. And it starred Dom DeLuise, Kathleen Freeman, Beverly Sanders, and Wynn Irwin, also Jack Knight. And it was based on a TV show in London called On the Buses, which I never knew that. It was a sitcom in England, and Stanley Bema worked at the Lost and Found at the bus company. I don't know if he was a bus driver, probably did, or didn't want to, but that was his job. He just worked there. He was behind a cage, like that, just like Louis De Palma is the dispatcher on Taxi, and Kathleen Freeman was funny. She's famous for the Penguin and the Blues Brothers. And also from Jerry Lewis movies. Oh, she's hilarious. She started in a couple of Lucy shows too. No, just a Lucy show, I guess. And was not very popular, but I found it funny, and it is on DVD. And I bought it, and I remember seeing a couple episodes. One of the guest stars was in there was Suzanne Summers. That was one of her earliest TV roles. But I read somewhere one of her earliest TV shows was in Dr. Kildare that starred Richard Chamberlain, and she was in there. I wish I can catch that. But someone told me she was a brunette in that show. Maybe she was. I don't know. I gotta check it out. So here's the theme song for Lots of Luck. And lots of luck in listening to it. So enjoy, everybody.
I used to buy a pickle. It only used to cost a nickel. And a bus ride only used to cost a dime. Lots of luck. Them days can be forgotten. The world has gotten rotten. Lots of luck. Lots of luck. Lots of luck. Every day is getting tougher, and it keeps on getting rougher. A dollar isn't even worth a half a buck. So in order to survive, just to keep yourself alive, what you really need today is
lots of luck.
Lots of luck.
Lots of luck.
Lots of luck. Lots of luck. Lots of luck.
Okay, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song. Oh, that's funny. The people who are singing is Dom DeLuise and the cast members. I don't think the women are in there, but I recognize them anyway. So that was set in New York City. You could tell like that. And here's some trivia about the show. It was based on the buses. It was a TV show in Britain. So all the characters kept their original first names except Jack. He was named Bummy in the British series, but not in the English version. And a funny thing about this, they used the same set they used on Sanford and Son. So when they were filming the shows, they used the stage for Sanford Sunday, and Lots of Luck did that. And like I said before, it's on DVD. Maybe you could find it on Amazon. I love the show. I watched it twice. It's very funny. And Dom DeLuise had his nagging mother, and he lived with her. Oh boy, that's enjoyable. That's probably why I gained weight a lot. I probably had a lot of stress living with her and the job. The job, he didn't really do anything, but oh well. Okay. Next up, I'm going to talk about Automan, and it was a superhero series. and it starred Dizzy Arnaz Jr. He was not Automan, Chuck Wagner was, and also Heather McNair, Robert Lansing, very famous TV actor, and Gerald S. Laughlin, who was famous in The Rookies. So and this aired on ABC. It premiered on December 15, 1983, and was canceled April 2nd, 1984, just 1 year. And the plot was this was a the story was Automan was a there was a police officer, and he was a computer programmer. His name was Automan, I guess, and that was his name. Oh, it was Otto Jane Man. So Automan, so you get that. And but no, I want to clarify something. He was a police officer. The computer programmer was Walter Nebeker, played by Dizzy Arnaz Jr. That's one of his TV. I think it was the first TV series he starred after Here's Lucy. He did some movies. Maybe I was wrong, but I'm going to start in the beginning. So the police officer and computer programmer was Dizzy Arnaz Jr. Okay. The hologram was Chuck Wagner. So he was like a computer. So, and they did some adventures together like that. And but they didn't last very long. There was 13 episodes. There was one unaired. I think you could find a bootleg DVD on it. I think it's on DVD. I'm not sure. Probably. So it was on Monday nights. It was competed with Scarecrow and Mrs. King, which starred Kate Jackson, who starred on The Rookies, and TV's bloopers and practical jokes. So that's a shame, because I watched the show. It was pretty good. I liked it. It was very enjoyable. So, but then it reran once on the Sci-Fi Channel. So that's good. I didn't see that. I wish I did. Okay. So here's the theme song of Automan. So enjoy, everybody. Okay, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Automan. That took me back the early 80s. Give you a little trivia of the show. The auto car that he drove was a customized Lamborghini Countach or Countach. And let's see. This show was inspired by the movie Tron from 1982 from Disney. I remember that. The creator of the show was Glenn A. Larson. He did a lot of shows like that. And there was a video game released on the show, and it was for the Commodore 64 computer. Remember that? I never had that computer, but I had a friend of mine had that, and I used that. And at the time, it was the most expensive show to produce, and it cost $1 million to do, one season. So that's probably why it was canceled, not just because of ratings, because it was too expensive to produce. And let's see. So, and there was also the Autoplane. It was that. So that was, and actually they do like a miniature model, so you know how they filmed that. So that's another TV show that came and went, but it had a good concept at the time. If it was made today, it'd be totally different. I know it would be with special effects. So we'll see about that. All right. Next up, another sitcom that came and went, and that was called George. And it starred George Foreman. He's a professional boxer, and his nickname was Big George, and he was a heavyweight champion, and he won a gold medal from the Olympics. But he's also famous for his George Foreman grill. A lot of people I know bought it. I never owned it, but I heard it's pretty good. I don't know if I'm sure it's still selling, probably. So I'm surprised he got approached to doing a sitcom, but that was amazing. The show was produced by Tony Danza, famous for Tony Banta from Taxi. And it aired on ABC from November 5th, 1993 through January 1994. Aired only 10 episodes. One was unaired, just one season. And so the premise was he was a retired boxer and he took care of troubled children. This reminds me of Fish, with Abe Vigoda. That's what it sounded like. His character's name was George Foster. His wife's name was Maggie Foster, played by Cheryl Lee Ralph. She's famous for, I think, Moesha's Mother. I think so. The TV sitcom. Also on It's a Living. And they had a good cast, but it didn't catch on. So it was just came and went. So here's the theme song of George that starred George Foreman. Here we go.
In America, everyone is free. No matter who you are, you can be what you want to be. No one can tell you what to do or say. Nothing can ever take your pride.
Okay, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song. But not much trivia on that, except I found one thing. On Jeopardy, when they had Sports Jeopardy, they had Rock and Roll Jeopardy, Sports. They showed a clip of it. It's George Foreman. So that's fine. So I don't know if it was rerun after that. Not doubt it. Maybe somebody had a bootleg or something. You could watch it. But I enjoyed the show. I watched it a couple of times. So he wasn't a great actor. He tried. So, but he was. He seemed like a very nice man. He really was. Okay. And that's from the 1990s. So next up from the 2000s, we have The Lion's Den. I think a lot of people sort of remember this show. I saw it once, and it was okay. And this show premiered September 28th, 2003. And it was canceled on November 30th, 2003, same year. It was like that. So it starred Rob Lowe, famous movie actor, and he's still acting to this day, and he's still so young looking. I don't know how he does it. Same age as me. Like that. So he started at the West Wing, and then he got offered a job, and he left. And the cast consisted of Matt Craven, Elizabeth Mitchell, Kyle Chandler from Early Edition, Francis Fisher, famous actress, and David Krumholtz. And it didn't air had low ratings, and he didn't catch on, you know. So Roblo played John Jack Turner, the most principal lawyer working from a corrupt law firm of Lyons, Lacrosse, Levine. Sheesh. And and then there was like I mentioned, the cast members. Rip Torn played Jack's father, and he was Harlan M. Turner. That was very interesting. He was a wonderful actor. So like that. The show didn't catch on, and it was canceled. But Rapolo was interviewed later on. So they filmed a crazy ending, and it was like, I don't want to spoil it, but I will. So he killed Kyle Chandler's character in The Office because he found out something he did, and you can find that on YouTube. And so he stabbed him, and then he called his father and said, we need to move on, like that. So you can watch that You can watch that clip, and Rob will discuss it. And he didn't seem very happy about that. He wanted the show to succeed, but it didn't. Okay. Also in the cast, which I forgot, was James Pickens Jr. He was in Judge and Amy, and also he's in Grey's Anatomy. He's still in the show after all this time. Wonderful actor. So I'm going to play the theme song of The Lion's Den. Here we go. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song. That was a good theme song for The Lion's Den. I'll give you a little trivia, and then we sign off for the day. And Rob Lowe wrote this in his book. He had an autobiography, and he said the show, they tried to save money, so they went to a abandoned paint factory. Oh, that was fine. That's crazy, And the building next door was a sex toy factory. I can't believe he said that. It was funny. So that was fun. I don't know who made this decision. Also, one of the guest stars was Jewel, the singer, and she was going to be a love interest to him. And she was going out with someone, and her boyfriend didn't like it, and that was well, shouldn't have brought him on the set anyway. But but they had good chemistry together, like that. So, but Jewel talked about appearing on the show because she was a very popular singer. So Rob Lowe enjoyed doing the show, but somehow the network hated it. So, like I said before, he was revealed to be a serial killer, and he began killing people secretly through the entire season. That's an interesting plot. It really was. So if they released the show on DVD with the remaining episodes, I would watch that. That would be a good, But if they aired it like that, it would be a complete shock to everyone, to the viewers. So that didn't happen. Okay. That's funny. Okay, so that's the end of our show. I will do a recap really quick. In the 1940s, I discussed the Ruggles. 1950s, Jamie. 1960s, the Judy Garland Show. 1970s, Lots of Luck. 1980s, Automan. The 1990s, George. And the 2000s, The Lion's Den. I talked a long time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you don't have time, if you have plenty of time to spare, just tune in to this podcast. For TV Oblivion, I will post this on my social media accounts. Also, whatever podcasts are available, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Music. Same thing with my other podcast, Vanishing Garland Stories. Also, I have a YouTube channel now. It's on TV Oblivion. If you do a search, it is there for you to listen. And please listen to the previous episodes as well. So this is your host, Pete Castanis, and thank you for joining me on TV Oblivion, the podcast. I hope to hear from you soon. I will do another episode sometime this week. And it'll be episode 6. It'll be a lot of fun. Okay. So here's... Right now, I'm going to play at the ending theme song would be the Pick and Pluck song. So enjoy that and take care, everybody, and everyone have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.